Peace be upon you. I'm Qadi Tayyib, and this is Qur'anomics. Today is part 5 of the series from the Islam of the Quran to the Islam of the Hadith. Imam Al-Shafi'i, the true founder of traditional Sunni Islam religion. Al-Shafi'i's authenticity of the news of one in Hadith, which means that Al-Shafi'i authenticates one person to bring the news of or hadith of the Prophet, just one person to have verified to affect the whole nation. Al-Shafi'i was not only the founder of the science of principles of jurisprudence, but he was also, and before that, the founder of the theory of knowledge in Islam, at least Sunni Islam. His first steps to this path were the legalization of the Sunnah, which took place in 2 stages. In the first part of his book, the Epistle, the message, the divine authenticity for the Sunnah was devoted to dedicating the authoritative epistemology of the knowledge of the narrator's news of the Sunnah. He has resorted to prove his fraudulent Sunnah to a method that is no less legitimate, with the method of similarity, rather the similarity that has no basis other than incomplete analogy. Since the book of the mother, and in the chapter of the story of a saint who rejects the news of the elite, the scholars and its stipulation was mentioned in the narrators of one report, saying, the argument is not established by special news until he gathers things, including that the one who spoke to him is trustworthy in his religion, known for his truthfulness in his hadith, saying of what happens, knowing what he imagines in the meaning of the hadith from the pronunciation, and that he is one of those who perform the hadith verbatim as he heard, and narrates from trustworthy people about the Prophet. Not one narrating about the meaning because he is told about the meaning, because if he is told about the meaning while he is not a scholar, he transmits its meaning. Unknowingly, he may refer the permissible to the forbidden and the forbidden to the permissible, and if he performs it by the letter, there is no manner left in which he is afraid to refer the hadith, preserving it as narrated. He is innocent from deception of narrating from unknown sources or narrator's gap. This is his policies, conditions of the one person who's going to bring a hadith and how he authenticates him. And it will be like this from those above him who spoke until the hadith ends with the Prophet, or to the one who led it to him without him, because each of them is confirmed for whom he narrates, and it is established for whom he narrated from. So each one of them does not dispense with what I have described. Ar-Risala, page 370, 372. So this one condition goes on to everybody, and it must be like a chain link. So this condition and this policy must be applied to the first person and to the last person and everyone in between, like a chain narration. But like I said, it's all about, not about logic, it's about trust. Not about logic, it's all about trust. That this person knows to say the truth according to them, or known for his religion, but nothing says about trust, nothing about logic, about using your mind. So everything the hadith is talking about is basically about who said what, like gossip. But the text itself, the hadith itself, no one cares about it. It could be anything. It could be garbage. It could be gold. It could be anything. It doesn't matter. As long as the person is trustworthy to them, then he can say whatever he wants and they'll accept it. As if you read the book of Bukhari or the 9 books combined of the Sunni religion, you'll find out. Since Al-Shafi'i considers this his guarantee, and the moral and epistemological correctness of the hadith narration is an asset in itself, and therefore it is not an analogy to others because the analogy is weaker than the original, page 372. So he sets the rule and he sets the basis for everything. And then everything else is being brought under the feet of what he says. But he does not allow his policy or his rules or condition to be compared to anything else. He compromises at the request of his interlocutor, the imaginative friend, because the book of the message is based on a dialogue between the party of Al-Shafi'i and then an unknown person who's against his thoughts, to measure the narration of the narrator to the testimony of the witness, or in his expression, representing on it, to avoid weakening his original by comparing it to others. So you can't compare, but representing it. In simple English, he beats them to the punch by making his arguments and conditions superior and fundamental so no one else will doubt it and therefore compare it as a substandard to something else. So, as we see, Al Shafi'i, he's ahead of his time, ahead of everybody else. So, he would not let anyone use or doubt or second think what he's thinking. So once he set the rules, it's sacred. Nobody could touch it and nobody could change it, and that's what he's doing. And he set in, like as in the previous in part 4, when he set the examples as a hadith that the prophet is making mistakes. He did those on purpose because he set an example how to attack the true hadith that will dismantle them. He's showing them how to attack the hadith and how to dismantle it so they could continue on with their belief and subdue the masses. This was part 5, and like I said, we're taking it one step at a time. I'm authoritative. This is Qur'an Nation, and stay tuned for part 6. Thank you for watching Qur'anomics.